Well, hello everyone. Good morning and welcome to week 2 of the seated exercise series. I think I see some new faces today and new names. So if you haven't been here before, welcome. And if you were here last week, welcome back. My name is Shelly and I'm a physiotherapist here at the Society. This class that we're doing this month, the seated exercise series, as the name implies, it will be a fully seated class, so you will not need to stand up. Hooray. Now, the class is a level 2 class, meaning that it's moderately paced. And what we mean by that is even though it's a seated class, it can still be high intensity. But of course, with that said, you can take as many breaks as you like during the class if you feel you need to, absolutely fine. And please don't feel like you have to match my speed when we're doing the exercise class. You can slow it down. And if you do take a break, absolutely fine. Just jump back in as soon as you can because we do want to work on the aerobic and endurance abilities here as well. So the structure of the class will be the same as last week. We will do a warm up together and then we will do the main portion of the exercise class, which will be 5 exercises that we're doing in sort of like a circuit format. We're going to do 5 exercises, 2 minutes each exercise, and we're going to run through that twice. So the same 5 exercises, but we're doing 2 rounds essentially. And then we'll do a cool down, and that's it. This class is recorded, and so it will go onto our YouTube channel at the end of the class. Usually it's uploaded a couple days later, or it might be a week later. So just so you're aware, if you did want to review the material from the class, you can do so from our YouTube channel. Okay, I think I see most people have gotten their audios connected. Now, I might be coming up to the screen every now and then during the class just to let some folks in from the waiting room. So don't mind me when that happens. There is also a chat box function. If anybody wanted to ask questions or comments throughout the class, you're welcome to use the chat box function. I just might not be able to see it until the end of the class when I come closer to the screen. Okay. Let me just make sure I've got my volume all set up here. Perfect. Okay, great. Well, let's get started. So I've got my chair here today. Hopefully you can see me okay. Now, because we are doing a fully seated class, ideally you want to be sitting in a chair that does not have armrest. Just so that way when we're moving, you're not going to hit your arms or knees on anything. But of course, if a chair with the armrest is the only one you have, that's okay too. Just be a little mindful as we're doing the exercise class today. But definitely no wheels at the bottom of the chair, okay? So hopefully you're not sitting in a computer chair with the wheels that move around because it will make it more challenging for you to do the class. All right, let's start. Now, when we're sitting down in our chairs, we want to make sure we're not leaning back in our chair, right? So if I turn sideways for a second, when we're sitting in the chair for the class, we want to make sure we're forward in the chair and nice and upright. What we don't want is we don't want to be like this. We don't want to be leaning or slouching back into the chair because you can imagine if my weight is this far back in the chair, it makes it really hard for me to move around. But we want to engage our trunk muscles. We want to sit up, right? And our bottoms should be forward in the seat the entire time, okay? Unless I specifically say slouch and lean back, which we will do for one of our stretches. I'm going to let someone in from the waiting room. Sorry about that. Somebody's joining us now. Okay, so let's get started with our warm-up. I'll face you again. We're going to start by clasping our hands together and we're going to reach our palms up to the ceiling. Whoops, let me move back so you can see my arms. Reach our palms up all the way to the ceiling, big stretch like someone's pulling you up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to circle our wrists all the way down. Nicely done. Hopefully you're sitting tall. Let's do that again. Fingers together, flip our palms up to the ceiling, like someone's pulling our arms up towards the ceiling. Pull, pull, pull. And then we're going to circle our wrists all the way down. Keep going. I'm just letting somebody in from the waiting room. One more. Clasp our hands together. Reach up to the ceiling as far as we can. Pull, pull, pull. And then we're going to circle our wrists all the way back down. From here, we're going to float our arms up into a T shape, shoulders away from the ears. And we're going to do a nice big stretch to the side, almost like you're trying to bring your shoulder towards that hip. So we want to make sure it's not just the arms that are moving, but our entire body should be kind of in this crescent shape, if you will. Nicely done. And we come back up to the middle, drop the arms for a second, and then we're going to reset. Float those arms back up to a T. Make sure your shoulders are down away from the ears. And we're going to bend down to the other side. Think about that shoulder coming towards the hip, chest facing forward. Nicely done. And coming back up and drop the arms. This time we're going to take our hand, grab hold of the opposite knee. The other hand is going to wrap around the back of the chair, either grab hold of the back of the chair or the seat, and we're going to pull ourselves around into a rotational stretch. Just be a little bit careful here if you've got any back issues. Maybe don't twist so far. I don't want you to be causing any pain or doing anything that might injure yourself, so just be mindful here. And then we're going to unwind back to the middle. Same to the other side. Take your hand, grab hold of the opposite knee. Your other hand's going to go around the back of the chair or the seat. Sit up tall, and we're going to twist ourselves around to the other side. You want to think about your spine like a corkscrew. We're twisting upwards and on the spot, and we're not kind of leaning sideways. Make sure you're breathing as we're doing this. And release. Stay where you are. I'm going to turn sideways for a second. We're now going to shuffle our bottoms back in the seat, lean into the backrest, and slouch. This is the only time we're allowed to do that. We're going to bring our arms up behind our head or our ears. We're going to open those elbows to the side, and we're going to go up and over the back of the chair so that our chest and our face is facing the ceiling. And you should feel a nice stretch across the upper back and the chest. Just be careful here. We're not going so far that you're injuring yourself or that you're falling over your chair. So just be mindful here. Be careful. And let's release arms down. We're going to do it one more time. Hands up behind the ears. We're going to point those elbows out to the side. And we're going to go up and over the back of the chair. Nicely done. Make sure you're breathing. Next long, shoulders away from the ears. And release. We're going to use our tummy muscles to sit back up and shuffle our bottoms to the front of the seat. I'm going to turn back around to face you. We're going to place our hands onto our hips, sitting up nice and tall. Think about your pelvis being stacked underneath your ribs and your shoulders being stacked on top of your ribs. What we're going to do here, feet hip width apart, we're going to start by lifting those heels up off the floor like so. And then we're going to drop the heels back down and lift those toes. Maybe I'll do it from the side so you can see. Heels up, toes up, heels up, toes up. And you'll notice as I'm doing this movement, I'm not doing this with my body. I'm exaggerating. Nobody's doing it like that. But we want to try to keep this movement in our lower body separate, or this movement in our ankles separate to our upper body posture. So you can see I'm still nicely stacked. I'm sitting nice and tall. I'm not leaning off to the side, and I'm not slouching either. Nicely done. So really think about pressing the heels into the ground, then pressing the toes into the ground. Good. And from here, we're going to brush our foot forward off the floor into a knee straightened position. And we're going to slide it back down. Same to the other side. I'm brushing like I'm dusting the floor to lift up. And I'm sliding back in. So we're not doing this, but we're thinking about this down and out, this brushing forward. So you're really lengthening that leg away from you. Same for the other side. Really think about that brush away. And down. One more each side. That brush away. Nicely done. Make sure you're sitting tall. Brush away. Good. I'm going to turn back to face you for a moment. We're going to put our hands on our hips still, and we're going to go into some marching for a moment. Just going to get those knees up nice and high. We're going to take our arms away in this moment. We're going to keep our hands on our hips as we're doing this. Nicely done. And then we're going to go out, out, in with our feet. So same marching pattern, nice and rhythmic and slow to start, but we're going out, out, in. You're really exaggerating that movement, almost like you're trying to lift your legs up from some tall grass or something like that. So you don't want to be doing this. We're not sliding, we're lifting. Keyword lift. Good. Let's drop the arms and let them kind of swing as we're doing this out, out, in movement. Whatever feels natural for you. Let the arms be nice and loosey-goosey. Back to normal marching. Same with the arms, swinging a little bigger this time, exaggerating that loosey-goosey kind of jelly-like quality. Keep going. I'm just letting somebody in from the waiting room. Nicely done with the march. Remember, the arms are swinging, loosey-goosey. We're going to keep the arms this way, but now we're going to go forward, forward, back, back with our legs. So the arms are the same. They're still swinging in that kind of loosey-goosey quality, but our feet are going forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back. Nicely done. One more. And rest for a moment. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to move on to our 5 circuit exercises. So we got 5 exercises. We're going to do 2 minutes each exercise, and then we're going to run through the entire thing twice. So our first exercise is actually what we just did, sort of, with the stomping of our feet. So let me show you the legs first. So we're going stomp forward, stomp back, stomp back. Okay, so now you'll hear the keyword is stomp. I'm going stomp, 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 stomp. Forward, forward, back, back. That's the legs. The arms, we're going to start with our hands and fists by our side or by our armpits. And we're going to do a big push, really spreading those fingers nice and wide. And we're going to do a grab and pull back in, nice and powerful. Okay, so putting it together, it looks like this. Forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Okay, so every time my feet go forward, so do my arms. And then when my feet go back, so do my arms. Okay, so we go forward, back. And we want to be nice and powerful in both our arms and the legs. We don't want to be like this. I'm exaggerating. Nobody does it like that. But the point is, you really want to imagine there's something in front of you and you're actually trying to push away and trying to grab and pull towards you, okay? And we're really stomping our feet. All right, I'm going to grab my timer here. We got 2 minutes on the clock. Are we ready? Whoops. Here we go. We start in 3, 2, 1, and off we go. Forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Keep going. Now remember, you do not have to do the same speed I'm doing, right? You're more than welcome to slow it down if it's a little too fast for you, but I want you to still exert that same power in your movements, that sharp, crisp quality, that exaggeration of the fingers spreading open. I want you to do that same quality, even if your speed is not the same as mine, okay? Of course, if you want a challenge, you can always speed it up. Forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back. Or you can do a slower pace. It's up to you. Really stomp your feet. Make a noise on the floor. Good. See if you can go the other way this time. If you're leading with the right leg, can you do the left? Forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back. You've got 45 seconds left. You're almost there. Keep breathing. Sitting tall, nice and sharp with those movements. Remember, if you need a break, that's fine. Take a break, but get right back into it if you can. Nicely done, everybody. 25 seconds left. Sharp and crisp with those arms. Big stomps with the feet. Good, 15 seconds. You're almost there. 10 seconds. Almost there. 5, 3, 2, 1. And rest. Well done, everybody. Okay, that was exercise 1. Now, exercise number 2 is going to look a little different. We're actually going to start with our feet a little bit wider. So you can see this is the width of my chair. My feet are just a little bit wider than that. Depends on how wide your chair is. But you do want your legs to be wider than your hips, if possible. We're going to start with the arms open and sort of out to the side. They don't have to be very high. They can be quite low, but you want your palms to face the ceiling. And what we're going to do here is we're going to clap on a diagonal like this while we tap our leg out to the side. So I'm kind of going in the opposite direction. If I'm clapping to the left, my right leg is going out, and then I'm returning to that start position. Then I'm going to clap on the other side. My left leg is going out this time, so I'm kind of on a diagonal. Can you see that? I'm on a diagonal and return. Other side, diagonal and return. Diagonal and return. That's our second exercise. It's really important that you're lengthening, you're being on a diagonal as big as you can. Almost like you really want to reach the opposite corners of your room. So you don't want to be here. We want to move big and big, okay? 2 minutes. Let me set my timer. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Clap on a diagonal. Remember, you do not have to do the same speed I'm doing. You're more than welcome to slow it down. But the important thing here is the quality of movement. If you're going to slow down the movement, I really need you to move nice and big, okay? And not like this. We don't want to slow it down and be here. We want to be big. But of course, if you want a challenge, you're welcome to speed it up. But still, again, maintaining the quality of movement. The quality of the movement is the important thing here. See if you can get that audible clapping sound. Really lengthen that leg away from your center. Reaching those arms up and away. Nicely done. Keep breathing. You've got 1 minute left. Remember, if anything is too fast, don't worry, slow it down. And if you need a break, like shaking out your arms or whatever you need, that's okay. Please feel free to take a break, but do get right back into it if you can or as soon as you can. Nicely done. Whoops, my chair's just hitting the back wall here. 40 seconds. Good, nicely done. Breathe. Almost there, 30 seconds.
clapping overhead. Your body should be on that diagonal. 20 seconds. Good, almost there. 15. Keep breathing, last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest. Well done, everybody. Okay, our next one, I'm going to move a little further forward because I don't want to hit my wall here. Now, the next one, we're going to start like this. Very similar to our first one. Our hands are in fists. But this time, we're actually going to rotate to the side. And you're going to imagine you dipped your hands in some sticky mud. And you're going to flick the mud off your hands like this. You're going to flick the mud off your hands. Let me move forward a little bit. My wall's a little close. But you want to flick and flick. Almost like you're, see how my fingers are doing this? So I'm not going like this. I'm doing this because I'm trying to flick that imaginary mud off of my hands. So you're going rotation like that, okay? Meanwhile, when you're doing the flicking, you're actually going to extend one of your legs like so. Flick, 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 flick. So see how I'm almost like I'm kicking down the door in front of me as I'm doing the flicking? Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm actually going to do this sideways because my room is a little bit narrow here and I'm hitting my arms on the wall, but also that way you can kind of see that flick, flick, flick. Okay, let me grab my timer. Are we ready? 2 minutes. Here we go. We go in 3, 2, 1, and go. Flick, flick, flick. Think about that sharp, crisp quality. So I know I keep talking about the quality of movement because that's sort of the important part here. We're not just doing the movements for the sake of doing the movements, but we really want to work on that quality. We want that distinct start and end point of our movement. We want everything to be nice and powerful and sharp and crisp in nature. Really imagine you've got sticky mud and you're flicking them off of your hands. You're flicking them away from you. So that if somebody was standing in front of you and behind you across the room, they'll get some mud on their clothes. Really flick. And your legs are kind of doing something similar. You're sort of flicking them as well. And notice that I'm sitting tall and I'm not doing this with my back. I'm exaggerating. No one's doing it like that. But you want to just remind yourself to reach the crown of the head to the ceiling. You got 50 seconds left. You're almost there. Breathing. Nicely done, everybody. Remember, if you need a break, that's fine. Take a break. Get right back into it if you can. Or you can, whoops, slow down the movement as well. I just smacked my elbow on the chair. So remember, you can slow it down if you need. 25 seconds. 20 seconds. Almost there. Last 15. Flicking those arms. Flick. Flick. Think about that mud, that heavy mud you've got on your arms. You're flicking them away. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done, everybody. Okay. That was exercise 3. You've got 2 exercises left, and we're done round 1. Our next one, where I'm facing you again, so you can see, we're going to do this. Our legs are going to start together. We're going to jump those legs out to the side. I say jump, we're sitting, so we're not jumping. But you want both of the legs to move together. Or bring those legs out to the side, and we're going to touch the floor, or as close to the floor as you can. Don't actually touch the floor if you can't, that's fine. Just reach those arms down like this, okay? So we're bring those legs out to the side, reach down, then we're gonna bring those legs together and reach up. So we're going down and up. Whoops, let me move back. Down and up, down and up. And notice how my hands are doing this and this, right? So same idea. Think about that mud. You're flicking down and flicking up, flicking down and flicking up. Now, if you're someone who gets dizzy when you're doing this kind of movement, just make that smaller and be really careful, okay? So if you're someone who gets dizzy, don't go like this and, you know, flick your head up and down in that kind of extreme motion. You can still reach down and up, but maybe just don't go so far down if you're gonna get lightheaded doing that, okay? But we still want to think about that down and up. If you can't move both legs at the same time, that's okay. One leg out, other leg out. So you can do that as well. Okay, you can do one leg at a time or both legs at a time. Up to you. Okay, get my timer here. Here we go. We go in 3, 2, 1, and go. Down and up. Think about the flicking of the hands. I know you can't quite see my fingers when I go to the top because they're kind of blocked out, but I can't move back any further. Whoops, can't really move back any further, but you get the idea. Imagine you're flicking your mud onto the floor and onto the ceiling. Remember, you can do one leg at a time. If you can't do both, one leg at a time, like this. Okay, and if this is too fast, don't worry, slow it down. You don't have to do the same speed. You're welcome to change it, but we still want that same quality of movement, that flicking. Okay? Nicely done, everybody. Remember, if you need a break, take a break, but get right back into it if you can. You got 1 minute left. Nicely done. 1 minute left. Woo. Good job, everyone. Keep breathing. Keep flicking. Really reach those arms. You're flicking that mud to the floor and all the way to the ceiling. You can't flick if your arms are here. You want to flick up. Nicely done. 40 seconds. You're almost there. Nicely done, everybody. Keep going. 30 seconds. Almost there. Remember, one leg at a time looks like this. If you need that, that's fine. Almost there. 20 seconds. Last 15. Last 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest. Whew. Well done, everyone. You have 1 exercise left. And then we're doing it all again. And then you're done. Okay. So our final exercise, we are going to do the same sit-to stands we did last week. So you probably remember this. Now, because it's a fully seated class, you don't actually have to stand all the way up if you don't want to, okay? I'm going to show you 2 different versions. I'll turn sideways. The first version, you're just gonna do some bum lifts, like so. You're just gonna lift your bottom off the seat and bring it back down. The second version is a full stand. You're transferring your weight forward over your base of support, your feet in this case, and you're gonna push the floor away from you to stand all the way back up. And then same thing on the way down. You're folding at the hips and you bring your chest forward, but you're keeping your center of gravity on top of your base of support the entire time before you sit down. Now, the important thing here is we're doing it slow. So for this exercise, you want to do it as slow as you possibly can. And the purpose of it is we're really trying to focus on where our center of gravity is. We're trying to control that to help us balance. So you don't want to be back here. If I'm starting at the back of my seat like this, it's really hard to stand up because my weight is so far back and my base of support, my feet are all the way there. So I want to bring myself forward and my bottom forward so that it's as close to my base of support as possible. And then I'm going to imagine someone's grabbed me by the shirt and they're pulling me forward, forward, forward over my base of support. So I want my center of gravity to be shifted forward over my base of support completely. So I'm balancing over my base of support. And then I'm gonna push the floor away from me and keep my center of gravity balanced on top of my base of support. And then same with on the way down. I'm keeping my center of gravity on top of my base of support until the very last minute to then sit down. So that I'm not going and crash landing and my feet are coming up, okay? So either that version or the bottom lift version like this, where you're just lifting up and you're sitting back down, but exactly the same thing. You're imagining someone's pulled you by the shirt and they're shifting your center of gravity forward over your base of support completely before you sit back down. Okay? So I'll do it sideways so you can see me. So 2 minutes, either version is up to you. You're going as slow as you can. Ready? Go in 3, 2, 1, and off we go. Nice and slow, whichever version you do, it's up to you, but you're going nice and slow. And you want this to be as quiet as possible. There shouldn't be any sounds of bottoms landing on chairs, no sounds of us using momentum to swing forward. You want to really control this movement, control. We don't want to be like this, or we don't want to be pushing the back of our legs into the chair to stand. We want to really control our center of gravity on top of our base of support and keeping our center of gravity on top of our base of support the entire time we're standing up. Or if you're doing the bottom lift version, exactly the same thing. We're still thinking about center of gravity over the base of support. You can take your hands away if you like, and then you're bringing your bottom back down. So you should still be doing the balancing of your center of gravity on top of your base of support, even if you're not doing the fully standard version. Okay, 50 seconds left. You're almost there. Slow. Go as slow as you can. If you can only do this fast, chances are you're probably using more momentum than that control. So we really want to slow down the movement, like you're going slow motion. Nicely done, nice and slow. Think about that center of gravity on top of your base of support. You've got 25 seconds left. You're almost there. Nicely done, everyone. Keep going. Nice and quiet with this one. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done, everybody. Well done. Okay, that was your 5 exercises of round 1. We're going to do all 5 exercises one more time for our second and final round. You're almost there. Okay, so you got 5 exercises left and you're finished. The finish line is right there. You can do this. We're almost there. Now, the first exercise we did was this one. Let me move off a little bit. We go forward, back. Do you remember that one? Like you're pushing someone away. Forward, back. We're stomping the feet and we're really extending those fingers to push and then grabbing and pulling to come back. So we'll do 1 minute and then the second minute we'll switch sides to the other side. Okay. Hopefully you remember this one. Ready? We go in 3, 2, 1, and go. We go forward and back. Really stomp your feet. Big push and pull. Nicely done. Remember, your speed does not have to match mine. You're more than welcome to speed it up or to slow it down. But whichever you choose, I do want it to be challenging for you. And I do want you to focus on that quality of movement. Nicely done. Because if you're going way too fast and your movement's like this, then I'd rather you slow it down. But if you are slowing it down, you still want to make sure you're exerting that nice, sharp power here. Brisk movement, that explosive sort of energy. And switch sides, other leg leading. That's it. Stop. Stop. Going forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. Nicely done. Keep going, everyone. Nice, sharp, crisp quality in the arms and the legs. 30 seconds left. Use your breath to help. 25 seconds, almost there. 20 seconds. Big stop. 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 Nicely done. 10. Almost there. Last 5. And rest. Well done, everybody. Whew. Apparently I can't count and move at the same time today. Okay, our next exercise was the clapping one we did on a diagonal. So this is the one where we started with our legs a little bit wider and we had our palms facing the ceiling and we did this clapping diagonal movement. Do you remember this one? Yeah, we did the clapping and leg out to the side. That is our second exercise. Are you ready? 2 minutes. Wow, we're flying through these. You're going to be done before you know it. Here we go. We go in 3, 2, 1, and go. Clapping on a diagonal. Noticing that my leg is reaching out to the side. So I'm not like this. When I clap, my legs aren't like this. I'm reaching. I'm trying to really stretch out and lengthen and fill up as much room as I can. Moving as big as you possibly can when you're doing this movement. Nicely done. Keep breathing. Whew. Keep going. Remember, if you need a break, that's fine. Take a break, but get right back into it if you can. You want that audible flapping sound. Really reach, almost like your toes are being pulled away from you. 1 minute. Longest minute ever. Keep going. The second round always feels a little longer for some reason. 50 seconds. You're almost there. Remember to reach that leg away. Reach away on that diagonal. 40 seconds. Almost there. Keep breathing. Big reach. Fill up as much space as you can. 25 seconds. Whew. You can do this. You're almost there. 20 seconds. Almost there. Last 15. Breathe. You got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake out those arms. Woo. Give yourself a little pat on those arms if you need. Shake them out. Shake out those legs. Okay. You got 3 exercises left, and then you're done. You're almost there. The next one, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. This is the one where we were thinking about mud on our hands and we were flicking them to the front and to the back of the room like this. We're flicking the mud away and we're kind of twisting our torso as we're doing so. And we got one leg to kind of flick. The leg is also kind of flicking. You're really thinking about that sticky mud you're flicking away from you. You remember this one? I think so. I see some nods. Okay. I'm going to set my timer. Exercise 3. After this one, you only have 2 left. Here we go. We go in 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Flick, 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 flick. Keep going, flick. Remember, you're sitting forward in the chair, right? We don't want to be back here. Make sure you're forward in that chair as you're doing this flicking movement. Think about that mud. You're flicking away from you, so that if somebody was standing at the front of the room and the back of the room, they'll get some mud splatters on their clothes. And your legs should also be doing kind of like a flicking quality as well. Whew. Nicely done. Keep going. Make sure you're twisting in your torso. You're twisting in your torso as you're doing this. We're not flicking forward, but your arms, they're kind of going in opposite directions. One forward, one back. You got 60 seconds left. Whew, longest minute ever. You can do this. Keep breathing. Remember, if you need a rest, that's okay. Have a rest. If you need to slow it down, that's okay. Slow it down, but maintain that same quality, that flicking quality of movement. 35 seconds. Nicely done. You're almost there. 25 seconds left. Ooh, are those arms burning or what? 20 seconds left. Keep going. 15. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest. Well done. Oh my goodness. Okay. Whew. We've got 2 exercises left, and then we're done. Our next exercise is the one where our legs open out to the side and they come back in. So it looks like this. Jumping out to the side, I'm flicking my arms down towards the floor, and then the legs come together, and I'm flicking my arms up to the ceiling. Remember this one? So I'm going down and up and down and up. Now, if you don't want to do that version and you want one leg at a time, that's okay. Same thing. Down and up, down and up. Okay? I'm just gonna open my blinds with a tiny bit because I think that's better. That way you can see my arms a little better because it's less dark. Okay. So this is exercise number 4. We have one more after this one, and then you're done. So really, 4 minutes of hard work, and then you're done. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. We go in 3, 2, 1, and off you go. We go down and up. Our legs are jumping out to the side and then coming back in. You're still thinking about that mud we were talking about, and you're flicking your mud down to the floor and up at the ceiling. Remember, if you're somebody who gets dizzy when you're doing this kind of movement, don't go down as far. Just have your arms flick down like so and up, but we still want that flicking downwards kind of motion, okay? Even if you're not bending down. Does not have to be my speed. You're more than welcome to slow it down or take breaks if you need. If you are taking breaks, you'll try to get right back into it if you can. Remember, one leg at a time looks like this, and that's fine too. You don't have to do both legs at the same time. It's up to you. But we're still thinking about that flicking quality of the arms. Nicely done. Whew. Good, everyone. Keep going. You've got 40 seconds left. You're almost there. Think about that mud, imaginary sticky mud, flicking to the floor, flicking to the ceiling. Got 20 seconds left. You're almost there. Keep going. Last 15. We've only got one exercise left after this one. You're almost there. 10 seconds. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest. Oh my goodness. Well done, everybody. Whew. Our last exercise is much slower. It's our sit to stand or our bum lifts, depending on what version you're doing. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. Now, this is the one where we're thinking about our center of gravity, and we're really controlling how we're moving our center of gravity forward over our base of support. So make sure you're not starting here. If you're back here, you're way too far back. We have to move ourselves forward, because when you start standing from at the back of the chair like this, you're going to have a very difficult time standing up, because your center of gravity is so far behind your base of support. There's no way you're balancing on that. Your chair might move back, or you might need to pull yourself forward. So we want to change that. We want to sit up nice and tall, shuffle our bottoms forward in the seat, and you want to think about keeping your center of gravity over your base of support. So if you're doing the full stand version, it looks like this. We're bringing ourselves forward so far that your entire center of gravity is over your base of support, and then you're going to push the floor away from you to stand up. You want to keep your center of gravity balanced on top of your base of support. And the same thing on the way down. You're sticking your bottom back, your chest forward, and you're balancing your center of gravity on top of your base of support, so it's nice and quiet on the way down. Or if you're doing the version of just a bum lift, that's fine too. Same thing, you're bringing your center of gravity forward over your base of support so that your bottom is off the seat. And then you're going to lower your bottom back down again. Nice and slow and nice and soft landing. Okay, too much talking from me, I think. Are we ready? This is your final exercise. Here we go. We go in 3, 2, 1, and go. Remember, as slow as you can, as controlled and as you can. Nicely done. Slow, controlled, and quiet. We don't want to use momentum if possible. You really want to control how you bring your center of gravity forward over your base of support. Nice soft landing. If you're not doing the full standing version, exactly the same thing. Nice soft landing as well. So if you're not doing the full version, you're still thinking about bringing your center of gravity forward over your base of support. And you're controlling this movement still as slow as you can. Try not to do the movement with momentum if possible. You want to be really body aware here about where your center of gravity is over your base of support, where your bottoms are, where your hips are, where your shoulders are. Nicely done. You've got 35 seconds left. Nice and slow and controlled. There's a construction outside my window. I don't know if you can hear that. Hopefully not. It's quite noisy. Keep going. Nice and slow and controlled. You've got 15 seconds and you're done. You're almost there. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Oh my goodness, well done. Sitting up nice and tall in our chairs. We're gonna start by just shaking the arms out. Let them be nice and heavy. Imagine there's little weights attached to the ends of our fingers. And we're just kind of letting them shake, letting them be as loose as possible. And then we're going to take a breath in and sweep our arms up like we're sucking up all the air. And we're going to breathe out and let the arms drop heavy again into that little shake. And again, breath in, pulling all the air in. And breath out. Nice and loose with the arms. One more. Breath in. And breath out. Nice and loose with the arms. We're going to stretch one leg out. Let me turn sideways. We're going to stretch one leg out in front of us. Keep that knee nice and straight. Sitting tall, hinging forward at the hips. We're going to reach the arms as far down that leg as possible. Doesn't matter if your foot is pointed or flex, up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. You're trying to keep your spine nice and long as you hinge forward. Nicely done. And coming up, same thing on the other side. We're going to straighten our opposite knee, sitting up tall. And we're going to hinge forward at the hips. So we're not doing this. We're hinging forward at the hips, keeping that spine nice and long if we can. And we're reaching those fingertips down. And come back up. We're going to do a little bit of a thigh stretch. Now, it's a bit more challenging when you're sitting down, but we can definitely still do it. What we're going to do is we're going to go on a little bit of a diagonal on our seat. I'm going to take my front knee and I'm going to drop it down to the floor. So I'm sliding that foot back so that my kneecap is pointing down towards the floor as much as possible. And I'm going to lean back into the chair and I'm going to try to lengthen this part of my hip as much as possible. So I'm kind of straightening the front of that hip as much as possible. And you should feel stretch in your thigh. If not, bring that foot back a little further, but it's up to you. You're just pointing that kneecap towards the floor. And then we're going to come back up. And we're going to come to the front. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Walking those legs over onto a diagonal. The front knee, we're dropping that kneecap towards the floor so that it's pointing down. We're leaning back into the seat, really stretching. You're stretching through the front part of your thigh. Nicely done. You're breathing. And we're coming back up. We're going to take our hand, we're going to hold on to the opposite knee. Our other hand is going to wrap around the back of the seat, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to rotate around into the rotation stretch, thinking about your spine like a corkscrew. So your crown of the head is pointing up towards the ceiling like you're growing taller, but you're rotating. And release, same to the other side. Take your hands, grab hold of the opposite knee. Other hand's going to wrap around the back of the chair, sitting tall. And we're going to twist on the spot here. Thinking about your spine like a corkscrew, the crown of the head reaching to the ceiling. Nicely done. And release. We're going to do a back stretch that we did at the beginning. I'm going to turn sideways. We're going to sit back in our chair, lean into the back seat, and we're going to slouch. And we're going to bring the arms up, hands behind the ears. We're going to point those elbows out to the side. And then we're going to go up and over the back of the seat. Just make sure we're not going so far that you're going to fall off your chair. Just be careful. But you should feel a stretch in your chest and your upper back. Long necks. And release, arms down. One more time. Hands up behind the ears. Bring those elbows out to the side. And then we're going to go up and over. Chest open. And release, sitting up nice and tall.
And last thing, hands on our hips. And we're going to do some rocking in our feet. Let's go. Ooh, let me turn sideways. Pressing the toes down, pressing the heels down, pressing the toes down, pressing the heels down. And then we'll come to a rest. All right, and you are finished. Well done, everybody. That was week 2 of our seated exercise series. I hope you found some enjoyment in that, and I hope it was challenging, but also doable. All right, thank you, everyone. Great to see you all. All right, take care. See you next week.